Winter was taking its toll on Sodor. The engines had been getting heavy loads to pull, and there were lots of snowdrifts on the tracks. As the days went by, the snow started to melt. However, the engines continued to pull heavy loads. Some engines were getting tired and getting a little grumpy as well. One morning, Thomas woke up and yawned a great big yawn. James started to chuckle.
Tired, little Thomas?
Yes, I am.
I'm not surprised. You tank engines always get tired out.
Rubbish! It's not just tank engines. Anyone could get tired.
Not me. I'm the pride of the line.
Is that so? Who needed my help up Gordon's Hill last week?
Arthur? Look who's up. It's Dirty Percy.
Will you stop calling me that, James?
Percy was in a bad mood. The other day, he was working at the coal yard. He couldn't have a washdown because there was a problem with the water hose.
Don't let him bother you, Percy. You know he likes to tease engines smaller than him.
Percy knew that Edward was right. Just then, Sir Topham Hatt arrived. He assigned Edward to take some trucks of flour to the bakery, and he assigned Emily to take some trucks of sugar to the chocolate factory. Then, he turned to Percy.
Percy, you will be taking some passengers from Cronk Station to Callan Castle.
Thank you, sir. Can I have a washdown first?
Afraid not, Percy. You mustn't keep the passengers waiting. Now, James, you must go to the fishing village and collect some trucks of fish. Arthur isn't feeling well today.
But sir, why can't Henry do it?
Henry will be taking the express since Gordon is away, and Thomas will be on his branch line.
And with that, he turned and walked away. James wasn't happy. He could see that Thomas and Percy were laughing at him. James fumed away. Later, Percy was heading to Cronk Station to pick up his passengers. He was worried they might laugh at him. But when he arrived, the passengers didn't laugh. They were happy to see him. That made Percy feel much better. James was still cross when he arrived at the fishing village. He bumped the trucks. The trucks groaned and moaned. James didn't take any notice. He wanted to get his job over with.
Come along, come along.
James pulled the screeching trucks out of the fishing village and towards his destination. Thomas was at a red signal when he noticed James coming down the line.
Phew! What a fishy smell.
Smelly fish. Smelly job.
James was so cross, he gave the trucks a mighty bump. Now, the troublesome trucks were cross and were determined to pay James out. James was approaching Gordon's Hill when the truck started to hold back. James did his best, but he started to slow down. Eventually, he stopped. His driver was about to call for help, but James called out.
No need for that. I can manage. I won't let these trucks beat me.
James tried to set off again, but the hill was very steep, and the troublesome trucks continued to hold him back. James's face was getting redder and redder, and he was getting tired. Then he gave up.
Okay. Call for help.
In no time, Edward arrived to help.
Tired out, I see? Never mind. I'll get you up the hill and to your destination on time.
Edward coupled to the back of James's train and pushed with all of his might. They reached the top. When Percy saw James, he called out to him.
Turn out, James. I am surprised.
James didn't answer. Soon, they arrived at their destination. Edward was about to leave when James spoke up.
Edward, thank you for helping me.
You're welcome, James.
Before you leave, can you help me to the water tower?
Of course I can.
So Edward buffered up to James and took him to the water tower. Edward was heading back to Tidman's sheds when he had to stop at a signal. Then, he saw that there were two men heading into an old part of the railway.
That's odd. No one goes there anymore. Excuse me, you two. I'm Edward. Are you lost?
The two men turned around, surprised. They looked at each other. Then they turned back to Edward.
We're not lost, but we would like a ride.
The two men climbed aboard, and Edward set off. Edward chuffed slowly and carefully down the old track. Soon, they arrived at the old shed. The two men jumped down and walked towards the shed.
Edward, there's someone we'd like you to meet. And we're sure you'll be good friends with her.